For centuries, seekers have traveled to the vast landscapes of the ancient East in search of a way to manifest powers that defy physical law. The methodologies for attaining these capacities were meticulously recorded and preserved in sacred texts passed down through generations. In our previous episodes on the Vibhuti Pada, we examined the mechanics of Samyama, the intense, unbroken concentration that Patanjali outlines. Applied to specific objects, this focus allows for extraordinary feats, known as siddhis, ranging from immense physical strength to supernatural perception. The promise of this total command over reality has drawn ambitious practitioners for millennia. Yet hidden within the exact text that teaches these abilities lies a profound trap for those seeking to transcend the self. After dedicating years to the rigors of Samyama, a practitioner reaches a jarring pivot in the text. In Sutra 3.38, Patanjali definitively labels these hard-won divination skills and physical perfections as immediate obstacles to spiritual progress. While normal society views such abilities as the pinnacle of human achievement, the advanced yogi recognizes them as catastrophic distractions that keep the mind tethered to material results. To navigate this contradiction, researchers rely on three distinct frameworks: reading the texts as literal empirical manuals, mapping them as psychological allegories, or viewing them as a biological blueprint for human evolution. Understanding why the heights of power become a hindrance requires investigating what these abilities truly represent to the mind of the practitioner. The classical worldview operates on the principle that the mind directly governs matter. In this framework, absolute concentration allows for the direct physical manipulation of external reality. Sutra 4.1 lists 5 specific catalysts that manifest these abilities. They can appear through birth into a specific species, the use of chemical herbs, the recitation of mantras, physical austerities, or deep states of meditation. Foundational commentators and later classical figures like Swami Vivekananda accepted these abilities not as miracles, but as a predictable science of the subtle body. For these classical practitioners, following Patanjali's instruction to discard the siddhis meant actively rejecting verifiable, immense physical influence over the external world. Modern scholars often apply a different lens, analyzing these supernatural claims as metaphors for profound internal cognitive shifts. Under this view, acquiring the strength of an elephant symbolizes the yogi achieving absolute mastery over their own internal nervous system and mental states. Texts like the Hatha Yoga Pradipika provide a biological framework for this mastery. They define siddhis as the activation of the silent area of the human brain through intense physical and pranic discipline. Heightened perceptions like clairvoyance naturally manifest as biological side effects of intense physical purification. Whether viewed as empirical science, psychological metaphor, or biological evolution, the manifestation of these abilities proves the yogic practice is working. That internal confirmation is exactly what makes them intoxicatingly dangerous. Across all yogic texts, the core psychological danger of success is the rapid inflation of ahamkara, the ego. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika warns that displaying or obsessing over these attainments immediately rebuilds the very identity the yogi is trying to dissolve. A practitioner begins living to meet the expectations of others, trapped by the weight of their own achievements. The texts describe a final test of intellectual fortitude. The yogi is offered the immense powers of celestial beings, overtures meant to see if they can be lured back into the desire for control. Patanjali frames these abilities as the final, most seductive barrier erected by the ego to prevent total liberation. The metaphysical climax of this process is detailed in Sutra 3.56. It defines the exact condition required for total separation from mundane psychology. This visualization represents the required balance. The most refined state of the mind, sattva, must become equal in purity to the spirit itself, purusha. But attaching to siddhis halts this process, trapping the practitioner inside a refined material cage. True freedom demands discarding even the highest, most intelligent, and most powerful manifestations of the human mind. Sutra 3.51 states the final requirement. The total destruction of the seed of evil is only achieved through vairagya, absolute non-attachment. The yogi completes their journey by navigating the deepest temptations of their own mind without reacting to them. This act of total renunciation initiates the transition into the final chapter of the Yoga Sutras, the Vibhuti Pada, a chapter which deeply details the complete and total isolation of the spirit from the mechanics of the mind. The ultimate expression of power is not the ability to command the universe, but the absolute willingness to let it go.